The hum of the starship Orpheus was the only sound as Captain Adrian Kale floated through the narrow corridor. The vessel glimmered with soft blue lights, its polished metal walls reflecting the dim glow. He wasn't alone. Not in the literal sense, of course. With him was one of the most enigmatic passengers he had ever encountered, a young alien girl named Vela, whose species' natural curiosity often teetered on dangerous obsession. Vela had first appeared on the Orpheus unexpectedly. One moment, she was a fleeting shadow on the observation deck. The next, she was sprawled in the cargo hold, examining wires, tubes, and even the artificial gravity generator with intense fascination. Her lavender skin shimmered faintly under the ship's lights, and her large, opalescent eyes betrayed an intelligence that was both wondrous and slightly terrifying. "Captain Kale," she said, her voice melodic but urgent, "I have questions." Adrian exhaled, leaning against the bulkhead. "About the ship, I assume?" "No," she replied sharply. "About you. About inside you." He froze mid-step. The phrasing was so blunt, so direct, that it made the hair on the back of his neck stand on end. He had dealt with alien curiosity before, but Vela had a particular way of combining innocence with a sort of clinical precision that made even seasoned spacefarers nervous. "Inside me?" Adrian repeated cautiously. "What exactly do you mean?" Vela tilted her head, her hair, a cascade of bioluminescent strands, glowing faintly in thought. "Your internal structure, your organs, your essence. I've read human biology records, but theory is not enough. I must see, touch, understand. Inside you." Adrian's stomach tightened. He had been through first contact protocols, ethical debates, and more close encounters than he cared to remember, but nothing in the manuals prepared him for a literal request of this nature. "Vela," he said carefully, "you can't just explore a person like that. It's personal." "Personal," she repeated, sounding genuinely perplexed. "Why should understanding be limited by etiquette? Knowledge transcends social barriers." There it was, the stubborn logic of her species. But Adrian had another problem. Medical protocols, universal treaties, moral boundaries, they all screamed at him to refuse. And yet, looking at her wide, shimmering eyes, he felt the same pull he always did in the face of genuine curiosity, a mix of fear, admiration, and a desire to explain. "Vela," he said slowly, "you're going to have to settle for a demonstration, not actual inside me." Her ears twitched, a soft vibration of disappointment. "Demonstration? Do you mean holographic models? Simulations?" Adrian nodded. "Exactly. A full-body hologram, every organ, every system. You can manipulate it, observe it, ask questions. But I stay fully intact." For a moment, her opalescent eyes dimmed, a subtle sign of disappointment, but also of acceptance. "Fine," she whispered, almost to herself. "I will learn this way." The Orpheus Medical Bay was a marvel of advanced human and alien technology. Adrian led her inside, activating the holographic interface. Within seconds, a three-dimensional, rotating model of his body appeared, transparent and glowing in layers of neon blue and green. Vela's eyes widened, pupils dilating to the maximum. "Fascinating," she breathed. "Every organ, every vessel. The complexity, the elegance." She reached out tentatively, her fingers hovering inches from the hologram, causing it to respond to her movements. "See here," Adrian said, pointing to the circulatory system, blood flow, oxygen distribution, all regulated in real time. This is how humans maintain internal balance even under stress. Vela leaned closer, her forehead nearly touching the projection. "And the heart," she murmured, beats independently, yet synchronously with all systems. How does it know? Adrian smiled softly. Instinct, evolution, biochemistry. It's not conscious, but it's consistent. Like your species' bioluminescent signaling, only internal and silent. Her attention shifted rapidly, flitting from one system to another: respiratory, neural, skeletal, muscular. Each layer revealed secrets she had only studied in dusty, holographic libraries back on her home planet. Her excitement was palpable, almost tangible, and Adrian couldn't help but feel a faint sense of pride at being the teacher in this extraordinary, interstellar classroom. Then she froze. Her gaze locked on the holographic representation of the brain. "Inside your mind," she said slowly, almost in awe, "there are currents, waves, and decisions?" "Yes," Adrian replied. "Thoughts, memories, emotions. All chemical and electrical signals processed and stored." She reached out, and for the first time, her hands brushed the hologram, causing a ripple across the brain projection. "And all this determines your actions? Your morality?" Adrian hesitated. "In large part. Experience shapes it, instincts shape it, and so does choice. It's a constant feedback loop." Her eyes shimmered with a mixture of wonder and confusion. "So inside you is a map of everything you have ever felt? Pain, joy, fear?" "That's one way to put it," he said softly. "It's a living history in a sense." Vela's fingers moved closer to the neural pathways, tracing connections with almost reverent curiosity. How delicate. One misfire, one imbalance, and everything changes. "Yes," Adrian said. "That's why understanding the body is not just about mechanics. It's about respect, caution, responsibility." She nodded, as though absorbing an entirely new philosophy. "I understand, but do you ever feel exposed, knowing someone can study you so intimately?" He considered this, fingers brushing the edges of the hologram. "It depends on the observer. Curiosity is one thing. Intrusion is another. Respect is the difference." Vela's gaze lingered on him for a moment longer. Then, surprisingly, she smiled, a small, almost human-like expression. "Captain Kale, may I ask a personal question?" "Depends on what you mean by personal," he said, a trace of humor in his voice. She tilted her head again, hair glowing faintly. "Do you ever feel lonely? Even with others around?" Adrian sighed, feeling the weight of centuries of exploration and command. "Lonely? Yes. But curiosity, like yours, makes the loneliness more bearable. Sharing knowledge, even when it's just a glimpse, connects us." Vela's smile broadened. "Then I am glad. My curiosity is not meant to intrude, but to connect, to understand, to empathize." For hours, they explored the hologram together, Vela's fascination never waning. She asked about every system, every process, sometimes pausing to compare it to her own biology. Adrian explained patiently, layering his words with analogies she could understand. And slowly, a bond formed, not of romance, not of mentorship alone, but of mutual respect and wonder. Then came the moment Adrian knew was inevitable, the topic of the digestive system. Vela's eyes glimmered mischievously. "And here," she said, tracing the stomach and intestines, "where the matter of life becomes energy. Inside you it transforms." Adrian chuckled. "In a manner of speaking. Food becomes fuel. Fuel becomes action." Her lips curled in a faint grin. "So inside you, even your sustenance is alive? Interacting, changing?" "In a way, yes," he admitted. "It's a dynamic process. Constant change." Her laughter rang softly, a sound like wind chimes in alien sunlight. Inside, everything changes. I see now. I see you." And for a moment, Adrian realized that Vela's request, though alarming at first, had been less about invasion and more about connection. She wanted to see him, understand him, not as a human or an alien, but as a living, breathing organism navigating the vast unknown. When the simulation finally ended, Vela's hands lingered in the air, reluctant to let go. "Thank you," she whispered. "I have learned more than I imagined, more than theory could ever teach." Adrian nodded. "And I have learned something too. Curiosity, when guided by respect, is never dangerous. It's enlightening." Vela's eyes glimmered, and she leaned slightly closer, as if about to ask another question, but she didn't. Instead, she placed a delicate hand on the console and looked out the observation window at the stars streaking past. "Captain Kale, what is next for you?" He glanced at the endless expanse of space, the hum of the Orpheus vibrating softly beneath their feet. "Next, we keep exploring, we keep learning, and perhaps we keep understanding each other." Her lips curved into a small, satisfied smile. "Then I will accompany you, inside and outside, always learning." As the stars blurred into streaks of light, Adrian realized that what began as a peculiar, even intrusive request had grown into a profound partnership. Knowledge, he thought, was never truly dangerous. Only the misuse of it was. And in Vela's case, knowledge was a bridge, a spark, a light in the infinite darkness of space. They spent the rest of the voyage together, sometimes silent, sometimes animatedly discussing life, biology, and the strange intricacies of existence. Vela's curiosity never dulled, and Adrian's patience never wavered. And when the day came to leave the observation deck, he knew that neither of them would ever see inside the other in the same way again, because they had gone deeper than mere biology. They had glimpsed understanding, trust, and the unspoken threads that connect all living beings. And in the vast, endless stretches of the galaxy, that was more extraordinary than anything else. As the Orpheus sailed through the glittering lanes of distant stars, a sense of calm settled over the ship. Vela stood by the observation window, her luminous hair catching the pale light of a nearby nebula. Adrian joined her, silent for a moment, watching the endless swirls of cosmic color. "You've changed since we started this journey," Adrian said quietly. "Not just in knowledge, but in perspective. You see the world differently now, don't you?" Vela's eyes shimmered, reflecting the nebula's hues. "Yes," she admitted softly. "I came seeking answers about the human body, about you. But I have discovered something far greater. Curiosity alone is not enough. Understanding requires respect, patience, and empathy. I understand that now." Adrian nodded. "And I've learned something too, that even the most unusual questions, asked with honesty, can teach you more about life and about yourself than any textbook or database ever could." She turned toward him, her gaze steady and unflinching. "Then perhaps this journey was not just about learning my biology or yours. Perhaps it was about learning each other, about trust, about connection." He smiled faintly. "I think you're right. And trust, connection, those are rarer than most star systems will ever visit." For a while, they simply stood together, watching the stars streak past as if time itself had slowed. Vela finally broke the silence. "Captain Kale, do you ever fear what lies ahead? That some things are too vast, too complex to understand?" "Of course," he admitted. "But that's the point of exploring, isn't it? We don't need to understand everything. We just need to keep going, keep learning, and keep sharing what we do understand." She smiled, faintly touching the console. "Then I will go with you, wherever this path leads. Not to pry, but to see, to learn, and perhaps to grow alongside you." Adrian felt a warmth he hadn't expected, a rare comfort amid the cold emptiness of space. "I would like that," he said. "And I think the galaxy itself will be far less lonely with you around." A soft chime echoed through the ship, the signal that a new star system had been entered. A luminous planet with swirling teal oceans and crimson deserts appeared on the view screen. It was a world untouched, uncharted, mysterious, and perfect for new discoveries. Vela's eyes sparkled. "A new world, new knowledge. Shall we go see it?" Adrian chuckled. "We shall. And who knows? Maybe we'll discover something even more extraordinary than biology this time." As the Orpheus adjusted its trajectory toward the planet, the hum of the ship felt different. Less mechanical, more alive. Adrian glanced at Vela, who was already leaning over the navigation console, her fascination evident in every gesture. He realized that what had begun as a peculiar, almost invasive curiosity had transformed into something far more profound, a partnership, a friendship, and a shared purpose. For the first time in a long time, Adrian didn't feel the weight of command pressing down on him. Instead, he felt a rare lightness, a sense that exploration wasn't just about stars and planets. It was about connections, understanding, and trust. And with Vela by his side, he was ready for whatever the galaxy could throw at them. The stars stretched into long ribbons of light as the ship accelerated, and Adrian knew that no matter how vast the universe, no matter how alien the life forms they would encounter, this moment, this bond, was irreplaceable. Curiosity had brought them together, but understanding had made them companions, and together, they would face the infinite, uncharted expanse of space. And somewhere deep inside, Adrian realized that in answering Vela's unusual questions, he had also discovered something within himself: courage, patience, and a willingness to embrace the unknown, not just in the universe, but in the connections he formed along the way. The ship sailed onward, carrying them toward countless new worlds, but Adrian and Vela knew one thing for certain: the greatest discoveries weren't out there among the stars. They were the trust, empathy, and understanding they had found in each other. And for now, that was enough.